Welcome to the Urban Assembly Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you registered. Now I'd like to turn it over to our very first presenter from CUNY Central, the City University of New York.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Kadeem Innocent and I work for CUNY Central. So I'm here representing all of the 24 colleges within CUNY. And I'm here to just speak to you about CUNY and why you should choose CUNY. Here at CUNY, we like to consider ourselves the greatest urban university in the world. And I know that may sound cliche because every college believes that they're the greatest college, right? But we honestly believe that, and I have a plethora of reasons why we believe that. And I'm going to share them with you today. First reason is our mission. And our mission is to provide exceptional education without hurting students' pockets. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's talk about the not hurting students' pockets part. Our tuition is $7,000 for the whole year, which is approximately $3,500 a semester, which is one of the most affordable tuitions in the country. And that's at our four-year institutions. And at our two-year institutions, it's $4,800 a year. So it's $2,400 a semester. So we like to provide, we provide our exceptional education with this affordable tuition so students can attend our institution. And to speak more about the fact that our tuition is so affordable, 65% of the students that attend the City University of New York attend tuition free, and 3 out of 4 students that graduate from the City University of New York graduate absolutely debt free. Now that is an amazing feeling for a student to graduate college and not owe anybody. So that's part of our mission. And when it comes to exceptional education, we have over 1,700 majors. And the beautiful thing about being a CUNY student is that you have 24 colleges for you to take classes in. You can switch from CUNY school to CUNY school without a problem. And the most beautiful part about the City University of New York is we're in the greatest city in New York. And I know that I may be biased because I was actually born in Brooklyn and raised in New York. So I will always believe that New York City is the greatest city in the world. But honestly, you know, New York is one of the business capitals of the United States, one of the fashion capitals of the United States, and also one of the culinary arts moguls of the United States. And the beautiful thing about City University of New York is we have connections with all the big businesses that reside in CUNY, from hospitals to big businesses to the food industry. And these big businesses come to CUNY and recruit CUNY students. So on top of New York City being the greatest city in the world, CUNY has connections with all of the businesses. So the students that attend can easily transition from academia to the professional field. And accessibility is something that New York City offers. All of our institutions are within the 5 boroughs, and all of the 5 boroughs are accessible by train or bus. So you don't have to think of the extra expenses of a car to get around. And we also provide support programs for our students. One of my favorite programs that I like to talk about is the ASAP program, which is at our 2-year institutions, where they would provide you with an unlimited Metro card. They will pay for your tuition and pay for your books. And all you have to do is go to school and pass your classes. So they're giving you benefits for what you're supposed to be doing anyway, right? Why not take advantage of these opportunities? And with the support programs, CUNY also knows with our exceptional education, some students may need to be challenged. So they have programs like the Macaulay Honors Program, where students that are part of the program will receive a $2,000 stipend. They would pay for your tuition and give you a free laptop. And the beautiful thing about the Macaulay Honors Program is that CUNY has gone test blind. So we are not looking at test scores for students to be admitted into our institution. Now that opens the door for Macaulay applicants, because a lot of the times students were not getting accepted into Macaulay because of their SAT scores. The fact that CUNY has gone test blind, you have a higher probability of receiving the benefits of being in the Macaulay Honors Program because we're not looking at the test scores. So, and I just want to share my screen with you guys just really quickly, just to show you a program that I love that also speaks to CUNY's exceptional education, and that's the CUNY BA program. Now, as you can see in the CUNY BA program, it shows you right here, you create your own degree, right? So, and you name your major. And when you graduate with a degree that you have created. So let's just say you go through all the 1,700 majors that CUNY has to offer and you still can't figure it out. Here at the SUNY University of New York, you can create your own major. So whether you know what you want to do, you don't know what you want to do, or you want to create your own major at the SUNY University of New York, we can provide that for you. And I will stop sharing my screen. This is the CUNY BA program, CUNY Baccalaureate program, and you can easily find that. Yeah, so that is the end of my presentation. To sign up for City University of New York, all you have to do is go to cuny.edu/application. It's a strictly online application. Freshman applicants can apply up to 6 colleges, and transfer applicants can apply up to 4 colleges. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from SUNY Oneonta.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Zachary Frangus. I'm one of the undergraduate admissions counselors. I'm the regional New York City admissions counselor for SUNY Oneonta. I'm just going to try to share my screen real quick. I think that it is. If somebody can just let me know if you can see the presentation. I don't think it's working.
You pulled it down. It was up.
It's up. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, looks good.
Perfect. So SUNY Oneonta, we're located about 3.5 hours outside of New York City. We sit right in the middle of Albany and Binghamton. We are part of that state system as one of the 4-year liberal arts colleges. When you think of Oneonta, you think of a medium-sized college with a little over 6,700 students enrolled at the undergraduate level. We have 15 resident halls altogether, and 5 of those resident halls are designated to our first-year students. So all of our students for first year and second year are required to live on our campus. So we are a fully residential campus. You're looking at a medium-sized college with an average class size about 21 and a 17-to-1 student faculty ratio. So you're getting that very individual one-on-one attention from the faculty members, as well as none of our classes are taught by any teacher assistants or grad assistants. They're 100% taught by faculty to open up the doors for networking opportunity to enter into a graduate study program or turn into the workforce afterwards. Every year we bring in about 1,400 freshmen that first year, and about 39.9 were first generation college student, and 26.8 are part of the multicultural population of students on campus. When you walk around our campus, you're looking at a very renovated, very updated campus. Our most recent renovation on the left-hand side of the picture is our library, which we completed last fall, and that was a $8.3 million renovation. All of our resident halls have been renovated. Every floor has a workout facility within the resident floors. They renovated our quad area outside. We've added 2 brand new buildings last summer to the campus, and currently under renovation is our Hunt Union, which is our student center, and that should finish up by the end of the fall semester. And we do all these renovations because we believe that that modern technology and living facilities is the best study environment for our students. And as you can see, the classes are very engaging. The faculty members right there up in center with her hand up, and she knows all of our faculty members know all of our students on a first name basis. We do have 57 undergraduate programs to choose from. However, 25% of our incoming class do come in as undecided. Because we're a liberal arts college, you have a lot of flexibility and a diverse curriculum where it gives you the opportunity to incorporate a different discipline into your major, or even coming in as undecided and not knowing what you want to do, or even if you're between a couple different majors. because we give you till the end of that sophomore year to declare that major. The most enrolled majors currently at the institution, you're looking at biology, psychology, our business economics program, which is one of our 10 nationally accredited schools, music industry, as well as education. Because we were founded as a teacher's college, that's one of our most rigorous programs. We did add a few new majors last year, and that was exercise science, sport management, and our women and gender studies. 20% of our student population is coming from the New York City area. So some other popular majors that you'll find for students within the downstate area are communication studies, criminal justice, and then our human development and family studies program as well. As I said earlier, all first-year students are required to live on campus. Typically, students are placed in what's either called a double or a triple that first year. So this gives you an idea kind of what that first year resident hall does look like. We do let you choose your roommate coming in, and all of our students take part of our FYE program where they're doing different programs to get you acclimated with that college transition, both academically and socially into the institution. You're going to find a lot of school spirit on our campus. We have, you're not finding our students going home on the weekends. They're staying on campus. They're getting involved. We have 150 clubs and organizations to get involved in, 21 Greek organizations, as well as work Division III for 21 varsity sports. In addition to our varsity sports, we have intramural sports and club sports as well. But being in that small town, you're going to find a lot of our students giving back to the local community. So as a whole, they gave back over 50,000 hours in community service last year. We do have what's called an EOP program. This is our college access program. For a student that both meets it academically and financially can apply through this. Do note that this is a very competitive program. We get about 2,000 applications, and we have about 45 seats for our EOP program. So it's very important that you are applying early into this. You would either do the SUNY or the Common App and then follow up with the EOP supplemental and your additional essay. We have a couple other different ways to get in if you are not applying EOP. The first application that we do have is our early action, which has a deadline of November 15th, and students are guaranteed a decision by January 5th of their senior year for this application. It does have a higher acceptance rate for our general decision application. So if you are a student that is getting an early start and want to go ahead and submit the early action, do note that that's not a binding decision. We do offer general decisions, so we're rolling admissions. We awarded about $5.8 million in scholarship money last year, and 85% of our first year students received some type of financial aid. We award anything from merit-based to foundation scholarships, as well as need-based, based off your FAFSA and TAP application. And all of those, all of our scholarships they don't require a separate application, so it's just the admissions application into the institution. But you must apply to the institution by the 15th of January for us to consider you. We are SAT, ACT optional, so test optional for the fall. And the middle 50% that was accepted was anywhere from about an 87 to 93 GPA and about a 1050 to 1200 SAT for the middle 50% last year. However, if you do decide to apply without test scores, do note that we aren't going to disadvantage you. We will still consider you for scholarship money, and you can still apply into our EOP program as well. This is my contact information, so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. That's my email and my direct line. If you have questions, you can drop them in the Q&A, and I'll answer those through the chat. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Purchase College SUNY.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Janine Venson. I'm a senior admissions advisor in the Office of Admissions at Purchase College SUNY. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you to go over all the great opportunities and what we have going on at Purchase College. Okay, if I can get a response that everyone's able to see my screen.
It looks good.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so Purchase is, bear with me here for a second. All right, first of all, Purchase is one of the 13 colleges of liberal arts and science within the State University of New York. We're very unique in many ways. For example, we're located 40 40 minutes north of New York City. But before I get into that, I do want to point out that we are 56%, rather, excuse me, I'm sorry, 56% of our students are majoring in our School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So being a liberal arts college, we're unique with 56% of our students majoring in our School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, while approximately 38% of our students are majoring in our School of the Arts, Visual and Performing Art programs, and then approximately 6% of our students apply undeclared, and we like to call that they're still discovering. So right now, our perfect size for our total enrollment is approximately 4,200 students. As you see here, a little shy than 4,000 are in our undergraduate programs, while a little bit over 100 are in our graduate programs. You'll also find that the majority of our students live on campus. Approximately 2/3 of our undergraduate students are living on campus. We have 6 residential halls. We also have 3 apartment complexes for the upper class students. So approximately 3 of our residential halls are for freshmen, while the other 3 are for our upper class students. And then we have approximately 86% of our first year students who are living on campus. Do keep in mind that we do have a fair amount that are commuting. And we are very accessible to get to, regardless if one is commuting or if they're living on campus. And I can go into a little detail later if you should have any questions in reference to students that are living on campus. And we're very mixed. You'll find that we're very diverse. Roughly 83% of our students are from New York State. The remainder come from 40 states, as well as 30 foreign countries. We're also socially mobile. 20% of our incoming students are first generation students. And we're diverse, diverse not only geographically, but also ethnically. And then of course, with our model being Think Wide Open, which I'll get into momentarily, I just want to point out what our campus looks like, knowing that we're located 30-40 minutes north of New York City. So we're in a suburban setting. You would never think we're approximately 30-40 minutes north of New York City, seeing that we're on 500 acres of land. When Purchase College was designed, it was basically having a college in Westchester County where scholars and artists are studying together and living together. So when it was designed, basically we wanted to have, or the architect, excuse me, wanted to have a country and the city. So this gives you a good aerial view of what our campus looks like. Lots of wooded areas, lots of nature. Again, we're approximately 30-40 minutes outside of New York City. Being part of the SUNY system, there are many resources for our students, not only being outside of New York City, where a lot of our students will do internships. New York City is like a living lab for our students, knowing it may pertain to research, internships, field trips, just to name a few. This gives you an idea of exactly where we're located. So we're in between 2 cities, Port Chester and White Plains. So say, for example, from New York City, it's only like a 30-minute express train ride from Grand Central Station via the Metro North Harlem line into White Plains. And we're approximately 5-8 minutes from White Plains, and just about the same for Port Chester, knowing that there's also an express train that one can take from Grand Central into Port Chester. Pre-COVID, we had 2 shuttle buses that our students would use in reference to commuting into White Plains or Port Chester in order to take the Metro North into Grand Central for an internship, what have you. So again, we're in a suburban setting. We do also offer numerous opportunities for students to participate and study abroad. And also too, within the SUNY system, if there's a country that one wants to go to, and say, for example, if we're not offering it, say during the fall semester or the spring semester, and one wants to go to Australia, Japan, it's a SUNY rule where one can inquire with another SUNY school in reference to participating in study abroad. 2 things we always encourage our students to participate in is study abroad. We do offer scholarships for study abroad, as well as students participating in internships. So I always encourage students during their college years, what better time than to participate and study abroad, let alone internship. Think Wide Open. I want to elaborate on our Think Wide Open because all of our students are required to submit a submission of what Think Wide Open means to them. And it's how we live at Purchase. We're very passionate, we're accepting, we're creative. All parts of the rainbow are represented at Purchase College. So the Think Wide Open statement that all students are required to submit is basically an opportunity for one to discuss what Think Wide Open means to them. It could be a typical essay. We give students the option of having, I'm checking on my time here because I did not start it. So I think, I'm not sure if I may be a little bit over or not. Anna, please let me know if I've gone over my time because I thought I hit it and I didn't. So I'm going to give myself approximately 2 more minutes. So yeah, the Think Wide Open, all of our students are required to submit a statement on what Think Wide Open means to them.
6 minutes.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, not a problem.
No, that's, so next we'll be hearing from Boston University.
Great, thank you so much. So I'll just screen share quickly. Hi everyone, my name is Duffy Moran, and I'm a Senior Associate Director in the Admissions Office at Boston University. Thanks for joining us today to talk a little bit about BU over the next 6 minutes. BU is a large private teaching and research university located right in the city of Boston. And to speak towards BU, I think it's really important just to speak towards that idea of diversity. Starting off with our incredibly diverse student body. We have students coming to BU from over 130 countries in all 50 states. And we offer those students a diversity of thought, academic programming, and opportunity to match with 10 undergraduate schools and colleges housing over 300 different majors and programs available. And while our students are required to apply directly to one of our schools and colleges, we're really built around this concept of one BU. We want our students to be able to pursue coursework across all schools and colleges, to be able to pursue really unique interdisciplinary pathways across their schools and colleges. So as a BU student, you have the ability to pursue double majors, to pursue dual degrees and coursework spanning all 10 schools and colleges. Might result in a biomedical engineering student deciding to pursue a minor in music through our normally conservatory style College of Fine Arts, or a minor in public health through our traditionally graduate level school of public health, or maybe a journalism student in our College of Communication, pursuing a second degree during their 4 years in international relations within our College of Arts and Sciences. With nearly 17,000 undergraduate students, we are on the larger side in terms of universities, but we have a number of resources in place that are ensuring our students are building connections and able to work hand in hand with the advisors and mentors that they have to find their pathway at BU. Along with the numbers you can see on this screen, 80% of our classes have fewer than 30 students. Only 4% of our classes have more than 100 students. Add to that the incredibly strong academic advising, our first year student experience program, where students learn how to use a lot of the resources on campus, like the Educational Resource Center, our free tutoring center, or our Center for Career Development, or our Newberry Center, which provides additional support for students who are the first in their families to go to college, or even understanding better our opportunities for undergraduate research, and just the expectations that are built into your coursework of going to office hours and making lasting connections with the brilliant and accomplished folks who make up our faculty, and find ways towards that experiential learning component that we think is so important. We were chartered as a research institution in 1867, making us one of the first research universities in America. And that led to Professor Alexander Graham Bell inventing the telephone with a research grant at the university in 1876 in a BU lab. And that identity has really continued to morph to this day, where we're now a major tier 1 research university with over $570 million in funded research on our campus just last year. And our students enjoy numerous programs to integrate research, internships, and clinical experiences into their curriculum, and also foster and fund undergraduate research experiences during their time with us. So whether that means taking advantage of our undergraduate research opportunities program, through which we fund over $1 million of undergraduate research each year, or taking part in an internship program or co-op. We have over 4,000 different internship programs available through our Center for Career Development in our schools and colleges, including the Yaki Foundation internship program, where students can find internships in the nonprofit sector with underfunded organizations. And if they're unpaid internship, BU will actually step in and pay for those internships to make sure that students are compensated for their work without sacrificing their passions. Or maybe it's working with Build Lab, which is an incubator space on campus that offers students pathways for innovation and entrepreneurship, their venture competitions, and all sorts of different ways for students to collaborate with each other and build their own businesses or pursue their own entrepreneurial pathway. We actually have an innovation minor offered through that center for any different majors at BU. So the idea of experiential learning is worked into your curriculum in a lot of different ways, whether it's through those tracks or whether it's through a global program. We are very much a global institution. We value global engagement and citizenship. We have over 80 study abroad programs spanning 6 continents. They're BU run, BU operated programs. And there are programs available for every major. Nearly half our students will study abroad during their time at BU, and your financial aid, everything else will carry directly with you while studying abroad. So it's really designed to be integrated into the curriculum. And we want to create really a global campus. Nearly a quarter of our students are international students. And within our alumni pool, we have over 30,000 alumni living outside the US. We have alumni in over 180 of 196 world countries. So it really is an international population, even beyond BU, that you're going into in an international network. And a lot of that also relates to the diversity of the community that you'll find at BU. Having so many different students from so many different places, it's really important that we also have a really inclusive community for those students. There are over 450 clubs and organizations at BU, spanning student culture organizations, student political organizations, opportunities in the fine arts, and community service. Over the last 5 years, BU students did over 1.8 million hours of community service. We offer club sports, intramural sports, Division I sports as well. So there are so many different ways for students to engage on our campus and be a part of our campus. And a lot of that's just a testament to the idea of the residential experience. With the understanding that student life follows students to where they live, we really work to create a true home for our students on our campus within the city. So while we do have an urban campus, we guarantee housing all 4 years and require first-year students to live on campus, which makes a true community to call home right within the city of Boston. Our campus spans about 1.5 miles of Commonwealth Avenue with the T, which is the train system in Boston, running right through the center of campus. About a 15-minute subway ride into downtown Boston. We're right across the street from Fenway Park with Red Sox play, and a short walk to the shops and restaurants in Back Bay, or the museums and cultural institutions in the Fenway area, or all of the opportunities for research and clinical experience found in the Longwood medical area, home to some of the top hospitals and research facilities in the country. So whether it's pursuing internships, research opportunities, or just fun, our students, I think, really appreciate that mix of having that urban campus, having the city at their doorstep, and having all the resources which the city of Boston has to offer right there for them. So I'm happy to take more questions in the chat. Feel free to be in touch with any additional questions there, and I can talk also about the admissions process and those pieces too in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Lastly, we'll be hearing from Union College.
Good afternoon, and thank you for welcoming Union College into your fair. My name is Michael Moore, and I would like to talk to you all about the power of union. And at Union College, which is in Schenectady, New York, which is 2.5 to 3 hours north of New York City, depending on how fast you drive. If you take Amtrak, that'll take you a straight shot from Amtrak station in New York City, straight to Schenectady, New York, where you're a 15, 20-minute walk from our campus. So at Union, we talk a lot about the power of connection, and you will see that reflected in the way that our campus connects. Every member of our student body, every member of our faculty belong to one of our 7 Minerva houses, where students are given a platform to share, advise, deliver wisdom as they see fit. We are arrogant enough to believe that every student on our campus will arrive with a wonderful array of talent and perspective and wisdom, and we want them to have a place to share that. So the faculty members, as you can see even in this photo, have a great deal of ownership, and they are the kings and castles of their classroom. But in our Minerva houses, where our students and faculty and staff become brothers and sisters through wisdom, you'll see that connection take place, and it's led by our students. At Union, we talk about putting students in a position where they have the power of integration literally at their fingertips. So when we talk about integration at Union College, as a liberal arts college, we're the first liberal arts college to offer a 4-year engineering degree. And even right now, Union College has about half of its students that study in the STEM division, and about half of our students that study humanities and social sciences. So you'll see integration manifest itself in 80% of our students doing interdisciplinary programs, interdisciplinary majors, minors. We also allow students to do what we call organized theme, where they get to essentially take 3 or more majors, work with an academic advisor or advisors, and bring those majors or those disciplines into one major that satisfies their specific interest. As I mentioned, we have about 82% of our students that are doing integrated programs. It's not a requirement, but typically the type of student that is drawn to Union is the student that shirks off limitations regarding their academic opportunities. Students who want to do dance and engineering or philosophy and computer science, economics and anthropology are very common. You'll find power of immersion. So if we talk about integration on our campus, reflecting the willingness and the ability for students to reach over into different departments, into different disciplines, you'll find the power of immersion reflected in how deep they dive, right? How intense or how they shape the passion around those particular interests. So immersion might manifest itself in students getting involved with international programs. During non-COVID times, obviously, students get involved with programs in about 40 different countries. We have a faculty member that will travel with the students that visit and take advantage of international programs. We also have local programs away from Schenectady and Union College, where students can do a DC program. Many students interested in policy and going into legal studies, law school perhaps, are interested in that program. We have a program that students can do what we call a civil rights mini-term. So these are 3-week mini-terms where students immerse themselves in that specific core topic. There's a Silicon Valley mini-term, for example. And these are just ideas of how students can really take the deep dive and get involved and understand what their program, what their courses are really about. Another way that students immerse themselves in their programs and their experiences is through research. We are a completely undergraduate college. We make sure that every student on our campus has access to research. About 80% of our students will do a senior thesis, which is on par with a senior thesis that a lot of students are doing in graduate programs across the country. It's the other 20% are doing some type of capstone project associated with the culmination of what they've learned. We operate on a trimester system, and one of the benefits of that integration and immersion is that the 10-week trimesters allow those students to connect what they're learning in one class to the next class that they're studying in that same term, but also to transfer it to the next class in the immediately following term. So we do 10 or 3 10-week terms per year where students are taking 3 courses each. At the end of that year, obviously they graduate or they have 9 credits or 9 courses, and we require students to graduate with 36 courses. So if you do the math there, it's really easy. 3 courses, 3 terms per year equals 9 courses times 4 is 36. Our students are scheduled to graduate in 4 years. The power of inclusion is another one of the powers that we value on campus and celebrate. And I will wrap this up in short by saying, if you look at your resume, if you look at your list of activities, along with everything else you've done for the past 17 years that have made you the person that you are, when we read your application, we'll see those things. We'll weigh those holistically in our process. The benefit that we have at Union College is we expect fully that every student will not just come and feel welcomed and to be on campus, but they will engage and they will share their experiences. They will lead with wisdom, with empathy, with courage. They will give us an idea or an opportunity to grow with and through them. So every student is expected to bring that to our campus with them. And then finally, I will talk about really quickly that our approach is an every student approach. So we think that every student will have a transformative experience at Union. Every opportunity is available to every student. So if you arrive on our campus through one of our opportunity programs, that doesn't mean you can't study abroad. That means we might have funding for you available through programs that our alumni and other staff members and faculty have created to make sure that we remove some of those obstacles. So every student approach is what we operate by at Union College. And I know some of you are thinking about applying, so we are still, for the past 13 years, test optional, and we will continue to read your applications just like we have over the past however many years we've been receiving applications from your high school. So I will answer any questions in the Q&A, and I look forward to connecting with many of you. My email address is right there along with my name. Thank you again.
All right, thank you. So we have a bit of extra time if all of the reps want to come back on. Just see, there are some open Q&A questions. So if anyone wants to address one that pertains to your university, you can go ahead and do that. I think I'll just ask you all a Q&A question myself. So I'll just ask you all to share your favorite tradition that takes place on your campus, and we can go in the same order that you presented in if you'd like. So starting with the City University of New York.
So I represent all of the colleges within CUNY, so it's hard to really pick which tradition, but I am also a product of CUNY. So I can give you the tradition that I liked. I went to Baruch College. I started off at Kingsborough and I transferred to Baruch College. So I started off at a 2-year and I transferred to a 4-year. And at Baruch, we had a tradition called the Battle of Lexington, where we would battle Hunter College for the Battle of Lexington. And it was a great rivalry because it happened basically twice, once on our campus and once on their campus. And they would give us free Baruch gear just so we can be in the stands repping Baruch. And it was a basketball game for the girls and the boys team. So it was a great tradition because every year they changed the free gear that they would give us. So you racked up on your alma mater or your school's gear, and you just cheered for your school. So that was a good moment for me.
One of my favorite traditions at Oneonta is, a lot of students might know this, but SUNY Cortland is also the Red Dragons. They're the same size as us with the same school colors. So we have this big rival between SUNY Cortland and Oneonta because we're both considered the Red Dragons. So anytime that the two schools play each other, it's called Battle of the Red Dragons, and it's a great event with a lot of school spirit on campus.
At Union College, my favorite and probably one of our biggest traditions is what we call Steinmetz Day. And that is a celebration of student research. So every corner of campus for the second Friday in May, our campus closes down. I mentioned that we're on a trimester system. So the way we're set up, Union College is closed on most holidays. So we rarely have to shut down. So Steinmetz Day represents one of the few days in the year that our campus completely shuts down. And it's purely to highlight our student research. So students present their original research throughout that entire day. And then that day is capped off in the early evening with a dance performance. And then you'll see all of our different dance groups perform a show of about probably 25 to 30 different numbers. And they do everything from jazz and classical, modern, hip hop, like you name it, it's there. So that's probably one of our biggest and certainly my favorite tradition at Union.
At Boston University, there's a couple. One that jumps to mind right now is the BU pumpkin drop, which every single Halloween, our physics department puts on a pumpkin drop from 5-6-story research building on campus where they fill the pumpkins with paint. So they carve out pumpkins, fill them up with paint. It's part of a whole science exhibition where they calculate trajectories and do all sorts of work, but it's also really fun because you're throwing paint-filled pumpkins off the building. So it's pretty entertaining. It's always a huge gathering on campus. Students come, there's costume contests, there's all sorts of things that go with that. The other biggest one, probably, and one of my favorite days just to be in Boston, is the Boston Marathon. Marathon Monday goes right through our campus. The whole city shuts down for the day, and it's just basically a big party, celebration of spring. Students all come out, cheer on the runners as they go through our campus. The Red Sox game always is time to get out right as the bulk of the runners are coming through. And so the whole campus just comes alive with activity and energy. So those are the two that come to mind for me.
And at Purchase College, we have quite a few unique traditions. For example, we have Pancake Madness, which takes place during each semester before finals week. So this is a time for students to get out of the residential halls, the library, what have you, let out some stress, get together with their fellow classmates. It basically takes place in the dining hall where I could be serving students waffles or pancakes. It could be one of the professors. It's basically like a huge dance party that takes place in our dining hall. There's always a theme, t-shirts are being thrown out. Another tradition is fall ball that takes place during the fall, where one will get dressed up in drag and put on a performance. I can go on and on with unique traditions, clubs, activities. There's always something going on campus, regardless if it's one having a performance at the Performing Arts Center. There could be guest artists coming in. So there's numerous activities taking place out of the classroom. Yes, that's just a few examples of our traditions. I can go on and on, so I'll stop.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. When you go to close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recordings online at the same website where you registered. So I see there is still a couple of Q&A questions open. So if anybody wants to address them, they can. Otherwise, I'll leave the Zoom running and you can just respond to them by typing. All right, looks like there are no more open questions. So goodbye, everyone.
Take care.